Hi. Good. Hi. Hello. How are you? Nice to meet you. Hi, my friend. We just meet. We did. Keep it later.
There's only going to be there's
Okay.
How's the, how are they doing?
well, that was already done. Cut the pipes.
When we had the two boys.
How about everything with you? And they just
Instead of
200 feet of pipe.
Now,
Let's get into high school. Which isn't efficient.
Yeah, I mean,
that was not right. So we have kids.
do they have like several sites? Or is it,
No.
Oh, darn it.
Well, I'm guessing it's going to be at least 2 more weeks.
And then one day the little family wanted to come. In a weird way.
yeah, they don't print them. Ryan, how you doing?
Okay. You?
You good? You sleeping?
Not so much. A little nervous. The pipe was cut today. So
I think everybody understands the importance.
yeah, no, everyone does. So just
First pipe.
You folks give me the thumbs up when you're ready for us down there.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
Listen to them. You go to the message you send out tomorrow. Yes. Should be. And when it actually comes
Yeah.
so I was just more than organized. It's really what it comes down to. I think people
Oh, we're ready, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It is just after 4. We are here for the joint work session, City and County, June 4th, 2024. I am Andy Hunthausen here at the County Commission. We have Commissioners Payne and Rolfe here today from the county. We have Mayor Collins online, and we have, good afternoon, Mayor Collins. We have Commissioners Dean and Shirtliff here with us, and I don't know if any other commissioners are online. I
They're
think
excused.
they're excused today. Okay, great. So this is our team. Why don't we go around the room very quickly so we know who's with us today? Do introductions. We can start right.
Jamal Wagner, Montana Free Press.
Roger.
Roger Baltz, Administrative Officer for the county.
Ed Coleman, Deputy Public Works Director for the city.
Brian Leland, Public Works Director for the city.
Jackie Pearson, City of Helena Solid Waste Landfill Coordinator.
I'm Miranda Griffiths. I'm the Sustainability and Recycling Coordinator.
Go ahead, Brian.
Brian Copeland, the Community Resource Specialist and Advocate.
Eliza McLaughlin, Helena Area Field Rep for Senator C. Banks.
Renee Clay Warren, Clerk for the Commission for the City of Helena.
Randy Spangler, Administrative Assistant.
Pete Anderson, City of Helena Solid Waste Superintendent, and Lewis and Clark County Landfill Manager.
Frank Cornwell, County Finance Officer.
Sheila Danielson, City Finance Director.
Tim Burton, Helena City Manager.
Jenny Chambers, Lewis County Public Works Director.
Brett Petty, Helena Police Department.
Ellie Reyes, City Planning.
Chris Brank, Community Development for the city.
Thank you all for introducing yourself, being here today. And I think we have 2 people online. I don't know that we need to introduce all of them, but we recognize you. We'll give you an opportunity to engage soon. Minutes from May 14th, 2024. If there aren't any concerns, we'll consider them adopted. Any concerns about the minutes from either commission? All right, we'll consider them approved. We are on to our main event, which is the McHugh Drive Recycling Bin update. And who's going to provide the update today for us? Okay, if you reintroduce yourself for the record, and you have the floor.
I'm Miranda Griffiths. I'm the Sustainability and Recycling Coordinator. We're just going to give a brief update on recycling operations for the city and county, and then go from there.
Sorry, I was fast. Screen here.
Okay, all right. So through the city and county, we have 7 recycling locations. 4 of them are in city limits. We have 1 at Lewis and Clark County Fairgrounds. We have 1 at Dale Harris Park, or across from Dale Harris Park. We have 1 at Safeway, and then all of these locations except cardboard, aluminum cans, steel cans, and paper. And then we have 3 sites in the county. 1 is at Grub State, another at Canyon Ferry Mini Basket, and another one at the former Valley Sand and Gravel excavation site, also known as McHugh Drive. And then we recently acquired a new location, and that is going to be at Libation Station at 410 Lincoln Road. So a little bit of history on the recycling efforts in the city and county. In 1989, the city began curbside recycling, also known as the Blue Bag Program. With this also came the paint exchange and commercial cardboard collection. In 1991, the city hired a part-time recycling coordinator, and they also began diverting glass from the landfill. In 1992, the city purchased a mobile recycling trailer. Then in 1993, the transfer station developed the recycling area, and they began accepting aluminum, tin, glass, newspaper and magazines, cardboard, white goods, and appliances. And then we began offering the latex paint exchange twice a year, happening in the spring and fall, which we have continued today. In addition to that, 2 off-site recycling locations were placed. In 1994, the compost operation at the landfill, or I guess the compost operation began at the landfill with a private company. In 1995, the recycling area expanded to include automotive batteries, tires, oil, and yard waste. In 1996, the Marysville sub-district site opened and began diverting scrap metal. And then in 2007, the transfer station serviced 113 commercial cardboard containers and placed 3 additional offsite recycling containers. And then continuing on from 2011 to present, in 2011, the recycling area expanded to include office paper. In 2012, the first e-waste recycling event was held and the city began accepting items once a month. In addition to that, 2 offsite recycling locations were also relocated. In 2014, the recycling area expanded to include number 1 and number 2 plastics. In 2015, the city ended its blue bag curbside program, and they began to contract with Helena Recycling to provide curbside recycling, which today still exists. In 2016, the transfer station purchased 2 new compactors for number 1 and number 2 plastics, and then 1 offsite recycling location was relocated. In 2018, the transfer station began recycling bicycles. In 2020, 2 additional offsite recycling containers were placed in the county. And then in 2023, one offsite recycling container was placed in McHugh Drive in the county. So this is just some tonnages and diversion rates. For fiscal year 92, we recycled 208 tons. This mainly included aluminum, steel cans, paper, white goods, and cardboard. There was no green waste recycled or diverted. In fiscal year 98, we did over 1,000 recycling tons with over 2,000 green waste tons. In FY04, we did a little over 1,700 recycling tons with 2,987 green waste tons. And then in fiscal year 10, we did 2,262 recycling tons and 4,576 green waste tons. So really increased our diversion rates in that time. And then on to fiscal year 16, with the addition of e-waste, textiles, and scrap metal, we recycled over 2,000 recycling tons and 3,748 green waste tons. And then fiscal year 22, 2,246 recycling tons, 4,133 green waste tons. Fiscal year 23, 2,228 recycling tons and 5,999 green waste tons. Slide, please. So I guess some advantages and challenges from our recycling program. Some advantages are the outlying recycling drop-off locations are very popular with the public. We have been able to create a strong partnership with our private property owners where those locations are placed. Those locations are very accessible and convenient for both the citizens and the staff. We have been able to increase our recycling and diversion rates. It also helps to decrease traffic flow at the transfer station. Some challenges would be locating and placing new recycling locations in those heavily used corridors, as well as establishing long-term community recycling drop-off locations. So currently the city and county is working through an integrated solid waste master plan. In April of 2023, we did a survey. We surveyed about 1,800 city and county residents. So for question 6 of that survey, they asked, do you recycle? For the city, we got 407 responses, 78% of them saying that they did recycle, with 22 saying that they did not. In the county, we got over 1,300 responses, with 61% saying they do recycle and 39% saying they don't. Question 7 of the survey asked, if you do recycle, how do you recycle? Of the 503 responses from the city, 27% said they used curbside, 33% said they used the transfer station, 38% said they used drop-off sites, and then 2% said other. for the 1,100 responses from the county, we got 3% saying they utilized curbside, 46% used the transfer station, 46% used drop-off sites, and then 5% used other. Question 10 asks, would you like to see more waste diversion opportunities, recycling, compost, reuse, those sorts of things? From 407 responses from the city, 77% said they would, 9% said they would not, and then 14% were unsure. Of the 1,300 responses from the county, 48% said they would like that, 23% said no, and then 29% said they were unsure. I thought there was one more slide, but I guess. Oh, okay. So just to wrap this up, Lewis and Clark County and the city of Helena continue to strive to expand recycling and diversion opportunities for members of the community. This includes continuing to locate and place recycling drop-off locations where they will do the greatest good for the greatest number. Staff recommends continuing to service all outlying recycling drop-off locations and looks forward to working hard on creating additional recycling locations and diversion opportunities in the community. Staff has received a few complaints from the McHugh recycling drop-off location for noise, odor, and litter. Staff has addressed those issues with monitoring the site for litter control, as well as servicing the site after 8 a.m. to reduce noise. The McHugh recycling drop-off was placed in March of 2023, and since that time, the site has consistently been utilized by residents for recycling diversion. Staff is asking the Joint Commission, based on both the complaints and usage of the site, if the McHugh recycling drop-off location remains in its place or if the site is to be removed.
Thank you. Other contributing factors from staff, anyone wants to add anything before questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, members of both commissions would be happy to answer any questions you may have on the presentation.
Thank you very much. How about questions, commissioners? And Mr. Mayor? Yes.
Chair, maybe one question. Have we had any, and I guess we have to catch people when they're dropping stuff off, but I'd just be interested to hear some of the feedback of people that utilize this location, and if they'd be willing to try another location if one is around the area. Because I know, I mean, we're hearing from one constituency of the county, and I don't know, what the feedback would be if they were to be removed. What would the feedback be from them?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commissions, we have had a lot of positive feedback, interactions with people that utilize the site. As far as what they would do to relocate it, I'm not sure on comments on that. We haven't asked those questions. I was at the site today, talked to an individual that was utilizing this site. And, they use the site on a regular basis, and she thought it was a great location, and she likes to go there, drop off her recyclables, and then run her errands elsewhere. The site, just to give you an idea how the site's utilized, we're servicing, we have a 30-yard roll-off there with tin cans and aluminum cans and paper. That is picked up and taken in and unloaded every other Monday. And the cardboard is a 6-yard container that is dumped daily. So I was there today, a lot of aluminum cans, a lot of tin cans, quite a bit of paper. The cardboard container fills up quickly in that location. So we know it's heavily used by members of the county. Not sure, how many phone calls or people we would get if this, if the site was to be removed.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add too, is that we did an extensive look at different sites around to see where it would be feasible to say, move the McHugh in the same area and take the same service area. And Libation Station was basically the one that came up. There were a few sites, but they just wouldn't really work or weren't in an area that would be really serviceable. You could go back in some back roads and put it in, you know, a cul-de-sac somewhere where not many people would use. But we did take a look at it, and this is the best we were able to come up with in the time frame that we have. We'll continue to look to put 2 more out there because we have 2 more that we're looking for places to be there. We were able to find one at Libation Station, and then we are still searching for other places to go ahead and put them.
Mr. Chair, Mayor Collins.
I was emailing with the one complaint. I should have brought my cell phone with me because I have that email on there. And I asked her how many people are unhappy with this location. So far, we've just got one person. Now, she got back to me and said, oh no, she had a list of about 5 names who were not happy with it. And I was just kind of wondering how much information you've collected. I'm not real happy about relocating this valuable resource if it's only upsetting one person. It's making a lot of people happy. So how many complaints have there been?
Chair, Commissioner, and we have gotten real formal complaints by 2 different individuals. There has been some that have, you know, either signed or said that may be out there, but we have only received 2 real formal complaints from 2 constituents.
So is this a huge problem?
Say briefly a follow-up. So from what I had understood earlier, the complaints were that the pickups were before 8 o'clock and that there was noise coming into their house. Do we know if those issues have been resolved with moving the pickup time to after 8?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commissions, I can say that there's been one instance where our front load that services the 6-yard corrugated cardboard container was in there at 7:20 a.m. and that was a new hire that had been on board for 6 weeks, and it was failed to be relayed to him on that route to not go in there after 8. And that was 2 or 3 months ago, I suppose, when that occurrence happened. But right now, we're consistently servicing the site between 10 and 10:30 a.m. on cardboard, and the roll-off truck goes in there after 8 a.m. Every other Monday. And both those trucks are on site for less than 5 minutes to provide that service. So when the front truck goes in there, it takes them roughly 5 minutes to dump the can back up and leave. The roll-off, 5 minutes to load the container, take it away, bring it back and unload it. So as far as the city providing that service, our industrial type trucks are there very minimal time. As far as the public utilizing it, I have no idea what hours of the day and that they're hauling their drop-off commodities there.
Well, just like any street, you could be driving down.
Mr. Chair, may I speak, please?
Question regarding, is there any sound dampening that we could provide or something that we could shield off that particular area with like a wall? I had 2 questions. One of which was going to be the hours, and the other one was going to be the sound, because those are the 2 main complaints from those 2 individuals that we received. Is there anything we can do, or is it just kind of?
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, members of both commissions, I have spoke to the property owner on a regular basis on this site, and you know, we've discussed. I've discussed with Director Leland as far as maybe some kind of fencing, kind of barrier there. The property owner is definitely willing to discuss. He's a big advocate of recycling. He supports what we're doing. He thinks it's a great location that he's providing us to offer this service, and he supports our efforts, and he just wants the commissions to know that.
Oh, Mayor, or not, Chair, sorry. One other point that Pete had brought up is possibly going to plastic cardboard, because that's what we're collecting as much to try and cardboard cans to not have as much noise too. So that was another option that we're exploring too.
I think this is the only site that's really close to homes, isn't it? Or are there other sites that are that close?
Chairman, members of the commission, on, I think it was slide 3, when you look at the mini basket on Canyon Ferry, there's a house right next door to the drop-off location. We're talking really close. We haven't received complaints from those residents. On McHugh, you do have a big wooden fence shielding that neighborhood from the McHugh Drive, and we're, approximately 200 feet away.
Across the street,
So
right.
it's a significant, and just like Director Leland had said, we realize we make some noise when we dump the metal container. It's metal forks. We could try a plastic container. We have used plastic containers in the past. We still got a few out there. They tend to not hold up to the equipment, how it's utilized, but that is an option.
Any other thoughts on what we might do to make it less, intrusive to the people that are complaining?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I like Director Leland's idea of the fencing. That would be some kind of a sound barrier plus sight barrier, and with the landowner's approval, we could try something like that.
And whose budget will that come out of? This has to be paid for.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commissions, that would be the recycling fund, which is co-funded by the city and the county.
Okay, I'm just saying, this is going to cost money. We've got 1, maybe 2 or 3 complaints. We've got 700 people using that thing thinking, hey, this is just cool. I am happy to get to recycle all this. I feel like I'm really doing a good deed. And we've got a person who doesn't like to get up before 8 o'clock in the morning, and who is, one of the other offenses that had been committed, there was a vehicle pulled up there and they shined their lights right into her window. That was one of the early on complaints. Sorry, I'm just not as sympathetic as I might be here.
Thanks, Commissioner. Mr. Mayor, anything you want to add?
He's off, he left.
Oh, he left. Okay. Well, we won't ask him then. So just to reiterate, and those that might be watching or that don't have a picture of the site, it is across McHugh from that neighborhood, and it's a city neighborhood, but the recycling bins are on the county side of the street. So it's kind of it's always a partnership here, but this is quite a partnership because a lot of those people are probably using it on their way in and out of their neighborhood, plus people coming in from the county on McHugh. So a convenient spot, heavily used, right? It's
Heavily used.
So every time we pick it up, it's full.
Yeah, it's I can't say that's full,
Well,
but the cans fill up faster than the paper, so we have to service the site. And then all these sites are somewhat seasonal, so when it gets really cold in the winter, we're not in there every other week.
Yeah.
It takes longer. A lot of people don't get out and about as much as they do during the warm weather and stuff. But this time of year, April through October is our peak season for recyclables.
And from our initial look at the site, there's no obvious replacement site nearby that would be less intrusive. It's a good site.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, as the recycling coordinator Miranda Griffiths, I've had a number of staff searching high and low. We, as Director Leland pointed out, we've found locations that are off the beaten path that are not going to get used, but we do try to target heavily used corridors because we're wanting to increase our diversion rates and wanting to make a site convenient for public access.
Right. there's rhyme and reason to those locations, which is what I was getting at. Thank you. You said it a lot better than I asked it. So, Director Chambers, I don't know if you want, you don't have to, but I just will give you the opportunity.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, just from the county perspective, we have been working very closely with the city on this as a joint effort. So as they indicated, the presentation was put together by both of us, and we are, from a county perspective, just trying to increase locations in the scratch gravel solid waste district and for the county to have these locations to recycle at. I think that benefit we didn't talk a lot to is a lot of the integrated solid waste master plan talked about transfer station activities and trying to reduce the wait times and things like that at the transfer station. So the more locations you can have for recycling, and then people need to actually use the transfer station for waste disposal and management, it's just going to free up those services for our city and county residents on a holistic scale. So just support them on their presentation, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. I can tell you, I use the grub stake site a lot. It's a great convenience for me.
I just want to throw just a thought out there. I think it's important to have a convenient site like we've got apparently have there on McHugh, and it's obviously getting used. But I think when we move into a neighborhood, I think we've got to be cognizant of how we recruit some people's activities, and if it takes us a little extra effort to try and overcome the problem, I think we should do it just as a matter of customer service, and just try to help out a little bit. It's, my old friend that I was talking about, I forgot one of his other slogans, and that was guarantee. He was a garbage hauler I was telling you about earlier. One of his slogans was guaranteed satisfaction or double your garbage back. and I think that we got. I think that in reality we've got to remember that we're in the service business. We need to try and take care of people and try to not intrude where we can. And obviously, you got a site that's working. Let's try to make it not intrusive on folks as we can, and it's not. As long as it isn't so hugely expensive that it creates a problem too.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, just follow up on Commissioner Wall. I can assure you that we've taken the complaint. We've looked to hit it from all angles. We have trucks going in after 8 a.m. I have staff members going down and inspecting for litter. McHugh has got a lot of attention over the last 14 months. And I can assure you that we're going above and beyond to the complaint.
Thank you. And today is a good example. We're spending this meeting agendas about this issue. So given a lot of attention, and along the same lines, Commissioner Rolfe, it's a good exercise to say, hey, if that were my house, what would I want to see here? And not that we can do everything that we might imagine we'd like if it were our house, but we can do what we can do and try and make it better than it is. And I appreciate you all being willing to do that and talking about that and trying to do that already. So anything else, commissioners?
Yeah, so maybe just to put a bow on this conversation, staff could maybe look into opportunities to mitigate the light and sound or whatever kind of infrastructure that might be necessary, and then we can go from there.
Mr. Burton or Mr. Baltz, anything you want to add to the conversation?
Mr. Chairman, I think that was pretty thorough. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you very much. Appreciate the work everyone's done on this update. That was great. Some good information. I think it helps us. So, commissioners, anything else on this issue? It sounds like there isn't overall want to do anything significant in terms of moving or anything like that. It's more whatever we can do to make the site better and to address the issues the best that we can with the resources we have. We encourage staff to try and use it. So, right. Okay. Great. How about public comment? any public comment? Anybody online or anybody in the room that wants to comment on this issue? Randy, anyone out there waving their arms?
Commissioner, as part of the public that uses that site, I
Okay,
can literally throw a rock and hit that from my house. I've never seen or heard any noise or lights, or I've never had a problem with this. Like a ghost comes in, grabs the stuff and leaves. It's been great ever since they dropped that in there, and in March of last year to have that. So I use it all the time. I'm pretty sure half the cans in there are probably from me. So I appreciate all of
right.
that.
Thank you for your comment. Any other public comment?
And there's one individual chairman that is trying to get into the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, we can give him a second here. We'll just have an uncomfortable pause for a second. Everyone feel uncomfortable.
Can you guys hear me?
All right. So we are on public comment. So if someone just joined us, you're welcome to make public comment if Randy can help get your mic open. Hi, if you'd introduce yourself for the record.
Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yes. If you'd give us your name for the record, that would be grand, and then go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Kelly Van Dyke. And you guys can hear me. I'm just confirming that.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, I live directly behind the bins. I live at 797 Insulator Avenue, and I've attended multiple meetings for about a year now. I've been working with city and county commissioners to try and get these moved. It sounds like there's somebody that said there's not sound, but I'm not sure where they live because I live directly behind them and there's definitely a lot of sound. It looks like there's a couple of my neighbors on here as well online. And we all feel the same, that these do need to be moved. We've been putting up with them for about a year now. I'm not sure if they've already, I wrote a public comment online. I don't know if they've read that already. I just don't want to repeat myself.
We have not, so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't want to waste anybody's time. So we had a lot of problems with early pickups, waking us up at 6 a.m. Just kind of reflect on the year. That has changed, but if there's a new driver, they still come early. And so that has been a very, very hard thing to live right next to. When they dump them, they shake them and it lasts for about a minute. Then we've got people that drive in at night and they turn their cars so that their headlights are shining in our bedroom windows. We have people doing that all times during the night. It's surprising how late people use the bins to recycle. We've had smells. I've picked up trash out of my backyard. When the wind blows, there's cardboard all over the streets. We've picked that up. My kids and I have picked up cans that have blown out. So between the trash, the noises, the sounds, and lately, this year, the last few months, there's been a man that's been parking directly next to the bins, like about 2 feet away from him. And he backs his truck up and he just sits there and he stares at my house it's gone on from like 20 minutes up to an hour. My husband is a police officer. I've had him run his plate. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do because he's not doing anything illegal. It's just very bizarre. So that has brought some interesting like loitering issues that we're dealing with. My kids don't even feel comfortable going in their backyard when they see him. That's how often he comes. And I just feel like, yes, there are a lot of people that use it. I agree with that. There are a lot of people, and I am a huge recycler. I'm not against recycling. I just think that this is not the best location, especially since there's one about a mile away at the fairgrounds.
Thank you for your comments. Are you finished?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate you being here today and making comment. Any other public comment? Any other public comment online or otherwise?
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Gomes. I am also a resident that lives right behind the recycling bins, and I would like to speak for just a moment, if that's okay.
Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. So, as Kelly mentioned, I would state that I agree that there's absolutely some convenience with the location of the recycling bins, but I would say that it has come with some significant disruption. Both in the noise, from a noise perspective, I would say we are seeing a significant increase in debris along the roads. I actually was surprised driving the other day. There's large boxes now along McHugh, up along the houses. There is an increased traffic, and we recognize being on McHugh, we have significant traffic anyways. I think one of my struggles, and this is in relation to the bins and not, but where we sit is considered city limits. So we're governed under all of the city limit regulations. And then across the street from us, we now look at it as a county, from a county perspective. With where we're located, you also have that walking path right behind our houses where there's going into summer, it will be less, but significant foot traffic in the mornings and the afternoons. And then you have this increased traffic with the with people utilizing the bins. We're going at a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. So I would actually highlight with what Kelly said, there is absolutely convenience. There's no doubt about that. But we are one of the only recycling locations that is propped right up against residential. If you look at all of the bins that you guys have across county and across city limits, they are in much more commercialized areas or the fairgrounds where they're not sitting up against residential. So I would say that this location does seem to be somewhat of an anomaly. It has come with significantly increased traffic in and out all day, all hours of the day from our current location. It also comes with, again, significant debris. Now it's Saturday, early mornings that they're dumping them. It has become somewhat actually a significant nuisance for those of us that are right behind it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there other public comment? Anyone else? Put on there, Brandy, that. Okay. Commissioners, any further discussion? Or questions at this time? I just say it sounds like a couple of things that are being contemplated. One is a barrier, some kind of fence or something like that that might help shield some of any debris that blows, as well as headlights, those kinds of things, and some sound potentially. Is that accurate? Okay, I'm getting the head nods, yes. So that has some potential to make the site better than it is and answer some of the questions. Any other thoughts, comments from anyone? Well, I guess it's continuing to monitor how it's going and to listen to the feedback we get and see if we can make it better than it is. And I guess, ultimately sometime down the road, if we can't, then we'll have to make decisions at that point. But, is that my kind of summarizing our where we are from the commission perspective? Okay, sounds like yes. All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate everyone being here. Or anything else from the commission perspective? Not on the agenda today. Our next meeting, when is our next meeting?
July 2nd.
Oh, July 2nd. Are we off in the week of July 4th? We might not, but we'll see. I guess we can, if there are items that we need to address and people are going to be around, we could have it, but often we don't have that meeting during the first week of July. Is that traditionally we don't, right?
Traditionally we don't.
Okay, so should we call it now and reconvene in August? How do people feel, commissioners?
Sounds great.
Staff's okay with that? All right, let's reconvene the first Tuesday in August. Thank you all very much. We will stand adjourned.